Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of our brand new off-season show entitled Off the Block. Welcome to Off the Block episode 1. I am so excited for this. This has kind of been an idea in the works for a long time. Pretty much every season, I'm like, we should do some stuff in the off-season, and then inevitably, like, we don't do it. But we're here. We're doing it now. I'm going to get all of the pleasantries out of the way and all the housekeeping things. The main piece of housekeeping should be in the description for this, at least on Facebook and the viewing party, is an application. And that application is for none other than Big Brother Hometowns Season 11. Season freaking 11. And I'm not BSing you when I say this. I'm truthfully not. I sometimes have in the past, but I'm truthfully not BSing you when I say that applications are rolling in. They are rolling in. So get your application in before it's too late, and you miss out on all the fun. So that's season 11. If you have no idea what this is, welcome to the viewing party. If you're new or around here, this is mainly in the viewing party. It's also streaming on the Big Brother Hometowns YouTube page. So maybe some people are there. Tonight we're going to do something fun. We each have created a top 10 list of the top 10 best players to never win. We're 10 seasons deep. I don't know the exact count of number of players that have ever played. Max, you might.
It's somewhere in the 80s.
Somewhere in the 80s. So we have roughly 80 some odd people to choose from. Well, maybe roughly around 70 because you take away the 10 winners. And we've each come up with our top 10. We'll pick some kind of order, and someone will go and they'll describe their pick, their number. We'll go down the order from 10 to 1. The other people will offer insight and comments where they feel necessary and needed. I'm sure there'll be some fun discussion. But then we'll kind of hold back because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crossover, of course, and those will be fun to just kind of explore. But in the meantime, let me say hi to everybody. First, we have my first ever co-host to my – I pointed the right direction the first time. That's always so hard. Max Teddy right here, winner of Big Brother Hometown Season 3. Been my co-host most of the way since Season 6. How are you, Maximus?
I'm doing well. How about you, Josh? The show?
Josh is ready to go.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. If anyone watched the quest of the other night, I got to jump in at the final 15 and act like an idiot for like a few minutes, and it was a lot of fun. So that's why the name, I forgot to change it back. Forgot. To my right below me is the winner of Big Brother Hometown Season 8, and been my co-host now since Season 9. Yeah, he wasn't in Season 8. It's Gray.
Yeah,
Gray.
I Season 8 also.
Right. What's you got for the people tonight, Gray?
I hope something good. I hope I have some controversial takes. I hope that I make some people mad.
Awesome. Me too.
I think I will.
I'm really here to piss some people off.
And great.
Thank you for stealing what I was gonna say.
And of course that leaves Mitchell from Big Brother Hometowns Season 6, Season 10. He did the exit interviews in Season 9. That was kind of like an unofficial role that he assumed himself. But now Mitchell is here on the official team, officially going to be on our side for Season 11 and beyond, I'm sure. And Mitchell, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm pleased and thankful to be here. And I was gonna say, can't wait to piss some people off and make some people mad at me, because I know inevitably I'm going to tonight. But yeah, this is fun. We were throwing this around yesterday, and I was just like, we actually need to make this happen because this is going to be so fun. So
yeah, I'm very excited. So I do want to say off the top, these lists, all 4 of them, do you know what they mean, people? Absolutely freaking nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Literally, don't take any of it to heart.
None. Unless you're like like we mentioned you and say good things. Of course, take that to heart. We're sorry if you're excluded. We'll probably throw some honorable mentions. My list goes all the way up to 33. That's how far my list goes. There's some people I just cut along the way and was like, nah, you're not making it. You're not making it.
And like we're doing top 10, and like mine, like I had like 12 people that I really had to consider. And so there were like 2 people that I left off. But then like, if you were to talk to me in like 24 hours, the top 5 are probably like pretty set, but like 6 through 12 would probably be different tomorrow if you ask me.
This is tough. And my list is even fluid as we go. I used this, like, I shared it with the guys, this like ranking engine, and it gave me my answers, but I'm not sure if I'm sold. I may flip a couple things along the way. I don't know. So, any other things I should say before we start making waves?
Let's take it
talk about
the wheel, John.
Should we talk about like how we decided our personal list, like just like really briefly?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all probably had different criteria.
Go for it, Mitchell.
Okay, so for me, I felt like there was 3 kind of things. There was, number 1, there are the people that are going to be here regardless. There's like probably 3 or 4 people that are going to be at the top of all 4 of our lists, and so I felt like there's no need to deviate from that. The second thing was people who played really great in one season or made it far in both seasons, in a good way and in a bad way. Like maybe you made it far, but you didn't have the agency. And so I was kind of looking at like each person that I watched their game, like, did you actually have the agency to make it that far? Or did you just kind of get there by this, did you have to fight? Did you get the skin in your teeth? Were you dragged there? Like, and those things kind of factored in. And then for me, the third thing is more of a personal thing, but I connect with players who play like myself. And so like there are people on my list that I feel like play similarly to I do. And they play a very social game. They use those social connections to be loyal to people. And I use those and I value those things and in my own rankings. So I think that kind of affects how I viewed it.
Yeah, I'll say how I kind of came up with this with my list. I mean, like the way the engine worked was that it pits 2 people against each other and you pick. But as I was thinking through, some of them are really hard because it was hard for me to be like, oh, they did better. Does that make them a better player? I tried to just look like if they were getting a ranking on like NBA 2K, like how high would their player ranking be based on their skills that they have? Not even necessarily. Sorry, there's just a really loud noise in my ear. Not even necessarily just how well they did or how well they did with like how well they did in the season. Like some people are just bad. Some people are good, but like there's certain players that were like they're a good player. They just had a bad hand or had like one thing off or made one wrong decision, but they're a good player. And so those are the kind of things that I was looking at. Just like what is their overall like player abilities? Do we know whose noise that is? Everyone mute. Let's find out. Wait, it went away. Not for someone come back. It's not Gray. Uh-oh, it's Mitchell. Maybe. Wait, it might be Max. Yeah, it's Max. Who done it? Oh, maybe it's Mitchell.
What are you hearing?
It's definitely Mitchell.
There's this loud like.
Oh, it's my dryer. Oh shit. Okay, hold on.
Cut the cameras.
Oh my lord.
I'll say like for my criteria while we're waiting on Mitchell. So I did decide to take our Sequester Beach Party game into consideration whenever I was making these choices. Just because I felt like every single person on my list has, with the exception of one person, every single person on my list has played twice. And the Sequester Beach Party gave a little bit more data, so that may have counted as like the second play for somebody. Also, every single person on my list, with the exception of one person, has made like the top 4 in some season or to some extent. I didn't really take like final placements too seriously because I was like, I mean, there have definitely been people who have gotten to like 5th place in this game, 3rd place in this game, and they like maybe won one HOH or didn't win any HOHs. They didn't really have any agency like what Mitchell was talking about. Like, even if they thought that they had agency, they didn't. And so there was just other forces in the house that were more powerful than them that, like, no matter what, they were going to get there regardless. And so that was definitely something that
It's back. Whatever the noise is, Mitchell, it's still there.
Yeah, I think it's your microphone, Mitchell. So that definitely played into it. I also just like the dynamic style of gameplay, like someone who like made it deep and made it far, but wasn't afraid to like make big moves along the way and like risk that. And actually, like my one person who like didn't make it to the top 4, the reason I still put that person on here is because they were like able to do that, where they're making like big moves and they're like controlling the narrative of things, and they weren't afraid to get blood on their hands. And so yeah, that was kind of part of my criteria, just looking at my list right now.
I made my list with a few different trains of thought. One is kind of the draft mentality. Like, if these people were competing for me, like, who would I want on my team?
I thought about that as well.
That was kind of a better question for me than like who is a better player. It's like, who would I rather have competing for me? Who do I feel the most confident that they're
So Max,
going to do well?
Max is definitely not picking me. Then we saw how that played out in the last draft.
Well, that's just one of the trains of thought I had. The other is, does this person make the right game decision all the time?
Yeah.
There are some people like me who may have done really well and may be a winner, but do they always make the correct game decision in a certain situation? Probably not. So even if someone didn't end up doing well, if they made the correct situational decision for them at that moment, that brings them up on my list. And the other train of thought I had was, I can't remember, but I know there's another one. But that's kind of what I thought about in making my list.
Well, there's only one way for us to decide the order.
Take it to the wheel, Josh.
Take it to the wheel.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we love the order.
All right.
Love the wheel.
The first person that will go is Max, and then it'll be... Ooh, just barely me.
Wow.
Then
It's
Gray, and then Mitchell.
wow. Love
And
being
we won't do a snake draft. We'll just go up and down the line.
Like, it'll always start with Max, and then it'll always
we'll always
me in the middle.
Ooh, I get to be the bomb dropper.
I'm ready for a hot take.
Yeah.
Number 10.
I'm actually doing a fantasy draft right now. It started at 9, so if I am like looking over to the side, that's what I'm doing. Okay. I just drafted Zach Ertz. So number 10 for me, I'm going to go with Slade. Because Slade, we all know, Slade is an org legend. He hosts his own page. He is a master game creator. Mitchell and I just played in the Hunger Games with him. He does an excellent job. We didn't do an excellent job in his game. But he does an excellent job.
Pretend I do not see it.
Pretend I do not remember that.
Oh my lord. Okay, I need to draft somebody else. One moment. I'm gonna draft Juju Smith-Schuster ? Okay. All right. So I picked Slade because he just has the mind for orgs. He understands strategy very well. He understands people. The reason I have him at 10 and not higher up is just because sometimes he gets in his own way. Sometimes there is a lot of drama that he finds himself in, whether he caused it or not. Sometimes he just finds himself in the middle of it, and then that just causes people to have his name on their tongues for whatever reason. He can definitely get out of it, like we saw in season 9, and he can once he gets a foothold, he can really have some agency and control in a game. So yeah, I feel confident in Slade.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Love that.
He played very well. Like I said, got in his own way sometimes, but played well. Probably was deserving of a spot in All Stars, but that's
Rob.
he was robbed. What are you gonna do? Happens. All right, that
You said BBH 10 some stars, like Max Teddy referred to
Oh
it
my
as.
God.
This is live, Gray.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
whoops. I didn't realize we were live right now.
people can hear that.
I'm so sorry.
All right, it is my pick, or not my pick. It's not a draft. It's oh crap! I had written the banner out, and I have to write it again, and I forgot to save it. So I've gone back and forth. I have what I put originally, but then I think I'm changing it because my 10 and 11 in my mind are close, but I feel like I have to put this person at 10. Like I can't allow this person to miss my list. The other person could be on the list somewhere else, so I'll be okay with that. So my number 10 best player to never win is Quinn Teddy.
Aw.
He was
Yeah.
my first. He was my first out. He was my
Yeah.
11.
He almost was my 11th, but I have gone the other way and said Quinn. Yeah, Quinn. It depends on the season because you can look at his overall player and say that maybe it's not good because of like there's so much info. But if you focus in on the good things that he has done, season 3 he like played very, very well, played very hard, didn't have the same issues that he necessarily had. He kind of did. He was an early boot and then won the battle back, but like was able to fight from there socially and strategically in a really smart way. Season 5 anomaly. Season 6. Is season 5 truly an anomaly because of the latent HOH that just like was stupid. Like it was just stupid. Season 6 couldn't quite get footing, had that returner mark on him. Season 8 luckily had that returning mark on him, but there was a lot of returners, and so he was able to kind of ride that for a little bit, was able to survive that early vote against Eric, and then was like a really instrumental part in that game when he was the reason Gray won. Like he's the deciding jury vote essentially in that game. And so Quinn is a very strong player. Season 10, whatever. Like, whatever.
It was his swan song.
Yeah, and his swan song was sung to the tune of Hamilton. So, he went out on a high.
He did.
Anyone want to add anything, or are we gonna hold on to Quinn thoughts?
I mean, we're here.
I'm holding.
All
So
right.
since Quinn was my 11th, I'll just say the reason that I didn't include him on my list, sorry, bro, love you, is maybe it's recency bias, but I feel like Quinn, this was my like correct decisions thought process. Like more often than not, when I've watched Quinn play, I've wished that he did something else. Like I can see him either like not talking to people enough, or when he's talking to people, like people often say he comes across as like very intense and strategic, and I think he kind of skips the pleasantries, which some people can handle, but a lot of people are turned off by that. And I think he just kind of assumes that everybody else plays the game like he does, and that's just not true.
Oh, Alex, I know this is Alex, but it's Facebook user said Quinn easily top 5 to never win. He was my number 10, so he's on the list. He's on my list. All right, great, and we're far from down this list yet, so chill.
Yeah. All right. So my number 10, and I do feel like a little weird putting her this low, but I did have to think about the placements, and I think that if she had played a little bit differently, her placement would have been better. But my number 10 is going to be Rachel.
Oh, interesting. I wrote the guess down that I had, and I was wrong.
Yeah, no, the guess that you had is coming up soon. So yeah, my number 10 is Rachel. Rachel got like 9th place in her first season, 10th place in her second season, I think. Rachel had like a very, very good control of like her alliances. So like in the first game, like Rachel allied with the right people. She was just a casualty of war because like it came time in the game where things start changing, jury starts, and people are like, all right, let's take out a big threat. It always happens. Kind of the same thing happened in season 10. Like Rachel was a part of a core 3 that was like running the game. The final 2 were out of that 3. She was on the right side of the numbers the whole time, and she was instrumental in pushing for things. She was very skeptical of Jenny, which I know, Josh, that you like were upset about.
Right.
But to a degree, like I think that like whenever someone in this game like does do something that you don't agree with, they like I don't know who said that, but thank you.
Facebook user.
Whenever whenever I'm blushing. Whenever someone does something in this game that you don't agree with, like you are of course going to be skeptical of them. So it's like there was really like no, in my mind, like I wanted her to trust Jenny because I feel like they could have gone really far together, but there was no reason that she had to trust Jenny because she had Pietro and Jake. And I think that if that vote where her and Pietro are on the block goes differently, it could have been her sitting at the final 2. So like I just think that Rachel is someone who she's not afraid to put it bluntly, she's not afraid to own her shit. She's not afraid to like throw someone up there just because they pissed her off. She's not afraid to make a big move. And that level of gameplay is something that like I just love watching. It was very, very dynamic.
She's not on my list because I think she played a little like she just plays a little overreactionary, a little too emotionally sometimes. And here's things I didn't like about her, specifically about her game in 10, was that she played really reactionary and it's not even about her getting Jenny out. It is, that's the move but she twice did that though, where other people made her do their dirty work. Mitchell got blindsided as a result. Jenny got blindsided as a result. When Rachel's original move was going to be to take out Alex, and then she allowed other people to kind of like just like tell her what to do, and then she became the giant target. And I don't think if she survives that night that she goes to the final 2 in almost any world, because she had just made herself such a humongous target, taking out Mitchell and Jenny when and how she did, both via the back door. So I think that there's a really good player in her, but I don't think she's among the top 10 best to never win, in my opinion. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. They're all good picks.
Yeah.
She's a good player.
I think it's a great pick.
Can I go now?
Yeah, of course.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay. So first, I want to say
Too triggering?
Huh?
Too triggering?
No. Because I think I will give her some props later.
Okay.
Sneak peek. So for me, my list skews towards the second half of the game because that's kind of when I entered. I know people who played in 3, 4, and 5, but I don't know their game. So a lot of my lists may differ from y'all's because I have some newer people. So my number 10 pick is Jayla.
Ooh.
It's a good pick.
I love that.
Queen. At one point she was off my list by like one spot and I just felt like it was unacceptable. So I had to put her back. She is socially so good. Socially, like, can just bond and build those connections so great. She has a mind for the game. She is a great confessional giver. And I think if she had done 1 or 2 things differently, if 1 or 2 things had broke her way in 7, I think she could have been sitting in the end there and she could have been a winner. So I really liked watching her and she's hilarious and amazing. So
I mean, she was America's favorite player that season. Like, she just had like the personality that a jury loves to vote for at the end.
Jayla's also not on my list. More spoilers. She's close. Where did I have Jayla? I have Jayla at 13. So she's right up there. And yeah, Jayla's great. I wish she would have played 10. She should have played 10. She was gonna play 10. And I feel like who knows how that season changes with someone like Jayla in the mix.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of season 7 centered around Jayla in some way,
Mhm.
and it was a blast to play with her for sure.
And ultimately, didn't she get got by Sam, who won that season? Is
Yeah.
he the one? So ultimately, she got taken out by the other person who recognized that the only person who recognized that she could have beat him.
And if I
And-
remember correctly, like she was gonna be a target during the double eviction, and then like talked her way out of it. Like there was
She
one.
was
vote,
in the mix for
there
sure.
was one vote that she was like gonna be the target, and she was gonna be out like 7th or 8th, and she was able to survive till 5th. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
she like did a lot of like maneuvering.
Yeah. She's one of those people who played a fantastic like game one time, and I would love to see if she could recreate it and
Yeah.
do it again.
I think it'll happen. I think we'll get her in eventually. Again, I'd be excited to see that. All right, Maxwell.
All right, number 9 for me. I actually changed this as we were talking about Rachel. I put Rachel for number 9.
Oh.
I had her higher, but hearing everybody talk about like what she actually did in her seasons kind of brought me back down to earth a little bit on Rachel. So yeah, I have Rachel as number 9.
Where did I have Rachel? I have Rachel as 22. Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're curious. Like I said, my list was
All of
33.
this means nothing.
Mitchell, is she on your list somewhere?
Yeah.
I'll be the dissenter. I don't care.
That's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
it's okay.
All right, my number. Are we good on Rachel?
Yeah, we've talked about Rachel enough.
Okay, my number
We've talked about Rachel
9.
for hours, but
Number 9 almost should be higher. This person should be higher, but they're not. They're going to stay at number 9. And I can't wait to have to live with the fact that I only put this person at number 9, and that is Stephen Moreland.
Oh,
So-
my guy.
So, I feel like from here on out, especially with him, if he's watching this or when he watches this, I'm gonna have to defend, just from our friendship, defend why every other person above him is above him. And there are reasons, but Steven played such a good game in season 6, such a good game, and was right. Is he already in the comments? I see.
Yeah, there he is.
Is that him?
Probably.
no, it's Alex.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
There. Okay.
Yeah, only number 9. Alex, you didn't even watch that season. Like, what do you even know? Whoops. Anyway, yeah. So I just feel like there's a lot. The rest of these players, I think all of them have played twice above them for me. Yes, at least. And so there's just that, and he played such a great game. And in a lot of ways, could have won had Ryan not done some of the things he did, and which we could talk about, which we always talk about. But like, but I still think that Steven had made himself such a big threat down the stretch that there was not a whole. He was running out of runway, so to speak. But he played such a strong game up to that point, and he is easily one of the best players to never win. And he also should have been in season 10. I would have loved to see what would happen if he had been in there, because he would have come in guns a-blazing. And so I think it's just because the people above him have all played multiple times on my list, that I'm giving them that. Yeah, so Steve is a great player, obviously. Anyone, any other words? All right. Emery?
My number 9 is someone who we are graced and privileged to be in his presence tonight. And he's not my number 9 just because he's here in the room. But Josh, you spelled Josh Consalvo wrong.
Yeah, it's me. Best to
Great.
never win.
How is Mitchell this low?
So Mitchell,
Low in a good way or a bad way, Max? I need you to clarify, please.
Like,
You should be.
Mitchell, you'll see. You'll see.
I can justify pretty much everyone else like above Mitchell. I think Mitchell again, one of the things that I took into account whenever I was doing this was the Sequester Beach Party. However, I did not weigh like a Sequester Beach Party as much as like a regular season of BBH. Like in my mind, it was just like a little bit of data that was like a tipping point that was like, oh, this person like definitely deserves to be somewhere other than somewhere else. In season 6, Mitchell was booted way too early. He was the victim of early bad circumstance. In season 10, I mean, the same thing kind of happened.
Yeah, I would say that more for season 10.
Yeah, I would say like if season 10, Mitchell, you had been able to get into like more of a groove and more of an alliance like you were in season 6, like, and not like be the victim of that circumstance and just like make it a little, set yourself up to make it further, then like you would have skyrocketed to like top 3 on my list probably. But like, it's just like, for me, the reason that you're on the list is because you're someone, like the theme of like making this list for me is like, you have to be someone who can own your shit, and like you do that. Like you are like the king of that. Like you aren't afraid to make a move, and you're not afraid to say that it's you. You're not afraid to play big. I don't know. Like part of me wonders if like maybe like you played too big too quick in 10, or if you were just like a target of unfortunate circumstance. And I guess like running it back, like we would never know. But
I mean, I have my opinions about that. I like.
You definitely deserve to be on this list.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I hope everybody else is going to be saying nice things about me at some point tonight. But you know, if they don't, that's fine. Yeah, okay, Joshua, I see you. I appreciate it. Obviously, I love playing this game, and I will talk more about myself later, I'm sure.
And that right there is why you're on my list. That right there is why you're on my list, because you own your shit.
All right, Mitchell, before your head gets too big.
No, never. My number nine pick is Lauren. So to be honest, I watched back a few confessionals of mine today because I was bored. And I said in one of my confessionals, season 7 is a boring season. Sorry, not sorry. And then I picked 2 people. My first 2 people on my list are season 7. And you know what? I have to retroactively say season 7 is still a boring season. However,
it just had great players.
However, Lauren, in my opinion, played one of the best games of someone who has only played once. She played one of the best games ever. She had Josh helped me remember a few things, but she had fantastic reads. She knew nothing about the game coming into it. I was like, why do I like her so much? And why is she like the name that keeps coming up for this list? Because she knew nothing about the game and then figured it out on the fly. She did great. She did a great job. She could have won that season just like Jayla. Had one thing broken her way. And I couldn't leave her off the list. So,
yeah, she's the one that I actually had at number 10 and then switched out with Quinn rather. And just because I really didn't feel right about Quinn missing the list. But Lauren was right there. When she put together her coins or whatever we called them to get the steal a vote was just such a great moment because no one else thought of it for whatever reason. And she, of all people, the wheels started turning. She was calling me and Steven because we were the only hosts then. And she was just like, put it all together. And it was this fantastic move executed just brilliantly. She just managed relationships so well. She had this one round earlier in the game where she threw a hinky vote, but like owned it. But it was just like such a social move. And it was just like, I was so impressed by Lauren's game in every capacity. She is one of the best to never win.
And her impact goes beyond just her season. I mean, like I watched her season closely, and her organizing and like collecting tokens to like buy that advantage was what inspired me to do that in season 8. Like that, like I remembered her doing that, and I was like, okay, like if Lauren did this, like I can do this. And so it's like her impact goes well beyond just her main season. She's got like one of the best like social plays of a round in BBH history, I would say. So
yep. It's a great pick. All right, Max, back to you.
All right. This is the one that I'm scared about the backlash.
Oh boy.
For number 8, I have Melody.
Oh,
Okay.
don't be scared of that backlash.
Okay. I just thought like
I'm in your corner. I'm right here with you.
okay, cool.
They got to come through both of us.
Because all right, so let me pick a wide receiver real quick and then all right. I really timed this poorly. Okay.
Set that bitch on auto draft, Max. Come on now.
I can't. I won my league last year and I have to win again. Okay. So Melody is at 8 for me because obviously Melody season 3, she's a queen. The problem I feel like with Melody is that she had Abby in season 3, and that really, really, really helped her out a lot. And so, obviously, I'm not counting season 10 because there were just circumstances out of her control that forced her to not be able to play the way she wanted to. But I just wonder how Melody would do without Abby as that guaranteed solid number. Because if I remember from season 3 correctly, she had Abby in her inner circle. By extension, Abby had Quinn. I feel like Abby was really the one that had the relationship with Quinn and not Melody. And I don't know. Maybe I just need to see more of her game to be able to like pick this properly. But I think Melody's number 8 for me.
I definitely don't hold 10 against her. She basically wasn't even there, so it's like she wasn't even cast. I definitely think that Melody will play this game again at some point.
Yep.
And I hope that when she plays this game again, she can like show everyone like how good she is. And I hope that us like talking about her now isn't going to like mess any of that up, because it shouldn't. Melody has like, to this date, it happened in season 3, but to this date, I don't think that there is a single other person in this house who has better reads than Melody did. Like watching Melody's confessionals that season, I just loved seeing the way that she like took all the information that she had from all these people, pieced it together, and was able to like form like a coherent like social picture of like what was happening in the house. And she like, of course, yeah, she had Abby as like her number one ally. But like she had people like other places in that house. And like we've talked about it before, like if one round goes differently, like if Max like doesn't win the veto that round, Melody is potentially a winner. Like she's one round away from potentially being one of our winners of this game. And so I think that like that just has to be credited. I mean, if you look at actual like Big Brother, like you could say that same thing about Janelle twice. And so it's like people like that, like they're definitely like in the like they definitely deserve a place on this list, and Melody is going to have a place on my list coming up.
Yeah, I am going to continue to be the dissenter. I don't have Melody on my list. I think that the more you talk, Max, actually a lot of things you said have been influencing my list at like on the fly. It is that Abby was a lot of the glue, but like, yeah, I feel like early in season 3, she also could have flamed out or like just like gotten kicked to the side, because she wasn't like the most super active in the early games of that. It was really like she's like a snowball going down the hill, just slowly getting better and better, and then finally like was able to play. And in season 10, she never got that up off the ground. And I do hold that against her, because yeah, maybe she had things going on in her life, but every person on planet Earth has their phone on them all the time. So she could have been a little better, just a little better. She didn't even have to be a lot better. She just had to be a little better, because there was people willing to work with her. Like they were really willing to work with her. I am, like I said, adjusting on the fly here a little bit. What are we on? This is number
8.
8. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what I have here. Okay. Oh, I'm having a hard time putting someone in a spot that so I'm putting. My list is very fluid, but I know who's next. This person actually lost a spot in the ranking within the last 5 minutes. Sorry, but they did. And this person, number 8, who was number 7 a few minutes ago, but sorry, they lost the spot, and that is Mitchell. You didn't
How rude.
you didn't really lose a spot as much as other people kind of bumped up. Yeah, I mean, what you accomplished in season 10 is actually probably the more impressive thing, because of how hard you had to work over and over. In season 6, you were in control, and there were people behind the scenes working to get you out. Here, it was like, all right, Daniel put the target on your back day 1, and you had to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. And, and you went out in a situation where Rachel arguably makes like not the smartest move for herself, because she did other people's dirty work, namely Pietro and Jake, and maybe a little Jenny and maybe a little Alex, and gets you out. And otherwise, who knows what would happen if because you had gone to them, you had gone to Pietro, Jake, and Rachel, and you had made a thing with them, and they were like kind of down with that, and then all of a sudden it just changed. So like everything you did was good. Like
I have gone on record. I'm just gonna jump you because I'm also my own number 8 spot. So like I just feel like we could talk about it now. Like I am also my own 8th spot. I texted these gents earlier and said I'm fighting with myself, with my ego, and with my humility of whether or not to include myself. But I really feel like
oh crap,
season 6. Oh come on!
I ruined the whole moment.
One of my criteria for great judging this was, could this person have won had something gone their way? And in season 6, had I survived that round that I got evicted, Sarah won the double the next round. I would not have been in trouble. I had a power at the final 5 that I could have removed myself from the game, and I would have been in the final 4 with fragmented sides. And I feel like at that point I could have either won a competition to save myself or not been the primary target of between these. I could have fit in between the 2 sides, and that was for me, it could have happened. And so I feel like season 6 I could have won. Had one little thing broke my way, I feel like it could have been a completely different end game. Season 10, I feel like I actually showed why I am good at the game, because I was able to like work social relationships, work things to get people to do things that maybe were not for their advantage. Like I don't think it was in Jenny's best interest to flip her vote to save me, but she did. I don't think it was necessarily I don't know. Again, she might have had different reasons, but
right.
I don't think it was advantageous for Ryan to flip to get Daniel Kennedy out, but he did because of a few people, mine and a few other people's relationships with him, to try and bridge that. And so I feel like I really showed in 10, even though I went out early, that like if I have the tools to use and that I could do it if the things lined up. So
and early is only relative to the fact that it's pre-jury, and there were still 20 people in the game, and you were out what, 13th?
13th or 14th.
14th.
Yeah, I think I was 14th. So
right. Yeah. So all right, Gray, you're up.
All right. So my number 8 is Steven. I think that in season 6, Steven was another person who was like one move away from potentially being a winner. The thing about Steven is, I don't know who would have gone out at 4th if Steven hadn't gone. Do you remember?
Sarah probably.
And you've still got Ryan, who like I don't think is going to win against Steven, but you've also got Abby there in the final 3. And if it's Abby against Steven at the end, I think Steven's only win would come against Ryan. Like, I don't know if Steven would beat Abby just because like the way he played. I don't know if like the jury would have, I don't know how the jury would have voted. I do think that they would have respected Steven's game, and they should have, because it was really, really good. But it's just all like speculation because if he makes it past that round, we've got one more round to get him into the finals. I love the way Steven played. Steven had like a very good read of the game. He had like good control of the game. He just became a target too soon. And he lasted longer than I thought he would last. And so that's something to definitely like write home about. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to add other than what you've already added, Josh.
Well,
but
and to make my first defense, because you would say, oh, well, Steven beat Mitchell. Like, why? I think that there even further, Mitchell put himself in a harder situation. This is not against Steven for not playing season 10. That's not what I'm getting at. Like, Mitchell put himself in that harder situation and had to really fight and show how good of a player he was. Not that Steven was in a weak field by any means, but I just think that just kind of differentiates for me and my list. And Steven also, and I sometimes hold this against people, sometimes don't. He had to win his way to the end, which means he didn't manage his threat level quite good enough. But I mean, that's tough. That's nitpicking. All right, back to Max. Your number 7. Unless you're picking another wide receiver.
I actually am. I don't know who to pick. I have 18 seconds left, so I will make my pick very soon. This is stressful. I'm picking. All right, Daryl Henderson. I don't know who that is.
Television.
Right. So, number 7, I have Sarah Williamson. Because Sarah she's a very cerebral player. I feel like does a lot of internal processing first and then makes her decision very carefully. She's very careful with what she says. And maybe sometimes that can work against her, but I feel like for the most part it works for her because she doesn't make any rash decisions. She always seems to be in the know. I'm thinking especially season 5. I think that was definitely her strongest season.
Right.
She found herself in the middle of a lot of kind of the sides of the house, and with her HOH kind of mid-jury, if I remember correctly, she kind of did change the course of the game and kind of like brought in a new era of it, I think, when she got out John, was it? I think. I can't remember. She got out John. And I think that kind of woke people up and it was like, oh, Sarah's here to play. And Sarah was just one move away, I think, from potentially winning that season. I voted for Sarah to win because I feel like she did a better job of connecting with everyone than Greg did. And I feel like she had a little bit more control than he did. So Sarah's 7 for me. Yeah,
that's a good pick. I feel like Mitchell and Greg don't have probably a ton to say on her, I would imagine.
She's on my list.
I enjoyed playing with her in the mini.
Yeah,
she seems great, but I don't know her game. So
right. What did you say, Grace? You said she's not on your list?
No, she's coming up. We'll get to her.
Yeah. That makes it me. And who's my next pick? Oh, yes, I'm excited about this pick. My number 7 goes to, and this might be generous, honestly, but my number 7 goes to Allie.
I don't think that's generous.
I think it's an appropriate spot for Allie.
She's on my list.
She's very good. She was better in season 4, I think, than she was in season 5 socially. She obviously had Max Parsons, which helped her because they're dating. Like, that helps. I also have her top of mind a little bit right now for reasons. But she's a very strong player, and she went out in season 4 because of a huge mistake I believe that she made. And that's just one thing. It can take that, and that doesn't make you a lesser player. It just means someone played better than you, or so. And the person that in that situation played better than her was Max, and Max convinced Allie to do something not in her best interest, and it really tanked her game, I think. And then in season 5, she went out in the double eviction, so she's made it deep twice. She went out in the double eviction in a really weird, bizarre, like, circumstance that kind of was beyond the game, and it was weird and dumb and like stupid. So she's a very strong player, great confessional giver, like entertainment level, top notch. And she has all the skills to put it together to potentially win this game someday. And I think she very well might. You never know. But yeah, she just has the tools. She knows what she's doing.
Allie was definitely one of the people I fought with over whether to include on my list, and she didn't end up making it, but she was definitely up there. I played with her in season 5. I was closely aligned with her the entire time, and I knew that I had to cut her because I just knew she was going to do really well and possibly beat me if she made it that far. So, yeah, all the respect to Allie for sure.
Allie's on mine, so I'll save my comments for when she does. But
I'm about to say, not that we're on a time crunch, but we're moving a little slow, so
we'll pick it up.
We'll pick it up.
My number 7 is Melody. I feel like I don't have to say anything that hasn't already been said. I do think that she was literally one step away from almost winning the game. Max recognized that. Max took the shot and made sure that she wasn't in the place where she would win the game. Had Max not taken that shot, then she could have been the winner instead. And so Max, I think one of Max's biggest moves was taking the shot. And so, yeah, I definitely think she deserves a place here, and she's one of the best to never win.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right, Mitchell.
My number 7 is Rachel, who we've already said a lot of things about. The only thing I wanted to add is I think the reason she's not higher on my list, my number 7, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The reason she's not higher on my list is because I feel like, especially in season 10, she did not always make the decisions that were best for her. And versus like my number 6 person, my number 5 and number 4 person, and some of the other people, I feel like they always make the decisions that's best for their game, and they don't let anyone else tell them what's best for their game. And so that's why I couldn't have her any higher on my list. But she's great. So, and she plays hard, and I like that. And as someone who plays hard, I really respect that game. And even though she took me out in 10, I respected it for how hard and she was playing. So
yeah, I felt like she hit the BBH scene out of nowhere and really like kind of took it by storm for 2 seasons. So like that's awesome, even if she didn't make my list.
Yeah.
All right, Max, back to you.
My next pick, number 6, is one of my best friends in the entire world, Thomas Shirley. Thomas makes my list because of his whole arc in BBH. He started season 4 with 0 Big Brother knowledge at all. He was the first HOH on the Plague, and it forced him to get with the program really quickly, and he did. And he made it to top 5 in season 4, and he made it to top 4 in season 8. And placement isn't everything, but that means you're doing something right normally, and he was. Thomas is also,
guys, this is Steven.
There he is. There he is. Oh man.
It was my list, Steven. We could talk about it later. It was just my list. We could talk about it later.
wait till he sees that you put me higher than him. He's gonna freak out.
He's already texting me.
Oh my god. Back to Thomas though. Thomas is one of the most perceptive players I've seen. He read the Alex situation in season 8 way before anybody else did. I was so proud of him for that. He just couldn't win a comp to make what he wanted to happen. But he knew exactly what needed to happen. Alex needed to go because everybody thought that Alex was their number 1, when in fact Alex is Alex's number 1. So, as he should be. But that's why I have Thomas at number 6.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Steven's really giving it to me here. I deserve it. I told him.
He should have played again in 10.
Yeah, it's a Steven, I'll say it again. It's a lot, especially with Mitchell being higher than you, and a lot of the people that are above you is because they're multiple time players, have a little more I have more information, and yeah, that's it. you can go back and watch what I said later. I think you're great. So shut up. All right. My pick for number, what are we at? 6? I get Steven, you're very much distracting me. My number 6 is someone that has been said already. A lot of these are, but I have some thoughts. And my number 6 is Sarah Williamson. It's I don't hold season 1 against her. She was second boot, and it was just because of how many people knew everybody in that game, and they were like, Sarah's going to be good at this. So it's like, because she's good at this, she got to go. And she was just an early target because of that. But in season 5, when she came in with a couple people who knew her, and a ton of people who didn't, that was perfect because, okay, these people that she knows, they're not going to target her because they know each other, and all these other people aren't going to know her, and she's going to be able to be good. It was awesome. And she's a vote away from winning. Like, you can't look at someone who was 1 vote away from winning and say, like, you know, they're not one of the best to ever win, because they were very, very close. The big stain on her game is that decision to vote late now at Final Four. Had she not done that, BBH history is very different, because either she has won or Bradley won. And that is obviously a big shift from, you know, what happened, and that changes a lot of things, especially with Bradley, if he ends up winning because of that. But and that's the kind of thing that Sarah, I've noticed, does in this and in other games. Like, Max, not to bring this in, but in the Cosmic Tournament a couple weeks ago, she did some similar, like, made some questionable decisions in that finals game, and that's just kind of the type of player she is, where she has this idea of how she thinks it could go, and she's like, I'm going to take this risk, which is good. She's willing to take those kind of risks, but this one just seemed pretty cut and dry. And so, as a player, she's a very, very smart player. She made the final 2 and lost by 1 vote, and so yeah, that's Sarah. My number 6, as well as.
Sarah is also my number 6. I think, okay, so to echo what you said, she lost by 1 vote. Literally 1 vote goes differently, and she wins the game. And I think that 1 vote she lost by is Leighton's, because Leighton voted for Greg to win. And if she hadn't evicted Leighton was probably a little bit bitter, and probably cast his vote for Greg to win because of that incident. Literally, it's a toss-up. Like, depending on, like, where Leighton was, like, in his mindset, he could have voted completely differently. He could have recognized Sarah's great gameplay and given her the win. Sarah and Greg were both deserving of a win in that season. So, it's just whatever day of the week it is, whatever hour it is, it's going to change. But I just really, really respect Sarah's, like, story in this game, how she went from, like, second out to second place. I loved playing with her in our sequester game. I think Max had a perfect read on her whenever he said that she's just, like, very, like, she, like, takes things and she's calm about it and thinks about them before she, like, makes a move, and it benefits her. Like, in that sequester game, I would, like, hop into a room and, like, Alex would be in there, like, freaking out about something, like, talking to people and, like panicking, and then I would hop into another room and Sarah would be there, like, calmly, like, oh, like, maybe we should, like, do this instead.
She was always so calm in that game.
And, like, if she told me to do anything in that game, I was going to do it, because I was like, she's calm about this, and, like, she's, like, calm, cool, and collected, and, like, I just, like, she makes me feel calm, and so, like, she's the kind of person who, like, I would do what she told me to do. Like, if we were playing in a season together and she, like, told me to do something, like, depending on when in the game it happens, like, there are a lot of factors, but, like, I would take her word, like, for it. Like, I'd want to be an ally with her, because she's someone who is, like, very, very calm and very, like she just has, like, a good demeanor when she plays games like this, and it suits her well. Like, it benefits her.
Yeah, I agreed.
Very loyal as an ally too.
Okay, moving on. My number 6 pick is Quinn. And I have Quinn high because I really respect the game he plays, because he plays it very similarly to me. He plays it really hard. He gives it everything that he can, and he grinds so hard to make whatever he wants or needs to happen. And he's got a ton of different, like, arcs throughout the series. I didn't watch season 3, but I would imagine there is a world that if he does not get stabbed in the back by his brother that he potentially could have been the winner of that season. And I think like for him, like he constantly, every time he's played since then, has had to fight against this perception of him as a player. And he continued in season 6. He made it so much further than what we wanted him to when we had the power the entire first part of the game. He continued to make things happen, to get it. He won comps when he needed to. And then for him to come back in season 8 and make it another deep run, despite all that, I found very impressive. And I feel like if he could get the right scenario, he could be a winner of this game. And so I guess I think I'm probably the highest on Quinn. But that's a lot of it is the respect of like, we play very similarly. So.
Yeah. I've said my piece on him. All right, back to Max.
My number 5 is going to be
Start with top
Abby.
5.
Abby Baxley.
Ooh.
I have Abby because Abby is unmatched at the social game. She is one of the most likable players I think we've ever had in Big Brother Hometowns, and that goes a long way in why she consistently makes juries. Season 10, I feel like she made really deep connections with a few people, but I don't think she had the breadth of connections that she normally does, and I think that hurt her. She showed in season 6 that she was a comp beast. Like, she crushed the comps in season 6, especially at the end. And you always just have to watch out for her, because if you don't, she's just going to keep sticking around. Like in season 6, she just kept sticking around. Like, she was on the block so many times, but she still survived and had a shot at the very end to win. She's finished 3rd place twice. And the reason she gets taken out at 3 is because people know that she would win. So I feel like
Janelle. She 100% are Janelle.
It's true. Yeah. The floor is open.
Abby's coming up.
Yeah, I feel like Abby's coming up for all of
my
us.
cards.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a surprise that we'll all have Abby coming up in a little bit. My number 5 might be the only person to have this person on my list at all. And maybe, well, my number 5 is Leah Robertson. And I didn't like her game a whole lot in season 4, but I cannot deny the type of game that she played. And what she played was a very cutthroat, strong, aggressive, like strategic, a lot of times mean, but good game. And not to mention, she was, if you go back and watch that finale, during the final HOH, she like claims that she meant to answer a certain way and then didn't. And that would have won her the HOH and would have won her the game. And so she was at a point where she was one question away from winning the whole thing. And so you cannot deny that at that point. I can't. I mean, like, she literally was a question away. And even then, when she missed it, she missed the tiebreaker. And those are crapshoots. So she was a crapshoot away from, winning the whole thing. Steven's texting me like he saw Leah's game. Like, stop it, Leah. You don't even know. You didn't come into the season. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh my Lord. Stop
it. She was final 3, was a question away from winning, slit throats left and right. Had no
villain.
Was an absolute villain, no fear whatsoever. Yeah. I do not hold her season 5 game against her. That was whatever. She was there, but the type of player she is very, very good. And
there was a lot of Leah's not on my list at all, but there was a lot of drama from season 4 that was like started by Leah for the sake of propelling her game and to like throw smoke so that she could just like tiptoe through it. It was amazing. Like, there was just so much, especially I will never forget whenever it was like her and Eric both were like the first people to like realize, because back then like BBH wasn't as like orgy as it is now, and Allie and Max were like both in it playing, and like no one knew that they were dating. now, of course, if that were to happen, everyone knows. But knowing you and like Leah and Eric were like the first ones to kind of like figure it out, and they were just kind of like dispelling that to like cause drama. And I mean, it's just amazing. Leah's great. She did a great job. She's not on my list, but she's a good player. I can see why she's on your list, Josh.
Yep. She and Max alternated HOHs. Like it went Leah, Max, and it was just you. If you look at the voting chart from that season, it was just it was dominant. It was.
Yeah, she's when things were shifting. I think I had her a little higher at one point, and then just kind of moved it around a little bit. All right, Gray.
My number 5 is Allie. I just love the way Allie plays. She got 6th place twice, and not only was it twice, it was 2 seasons in a row. Like season 5, people should have seen the way that she performed in season 4 and like done something about that, and they didn't. Like they let her do exactly what she did from season 4 over again. I agree with you, Josh. I think that she was like one move away from doing a lot better in season 4 than what she should have done. She could have been somebody who could have taken a hit, like taken a swing at Leah earlier. I don't know. I really don't know why she didn't. But I mean, Allie is someone who, like, personality wise, like people want to work with her. She won America's Favorite Player 2 seasons in a row, back to back. She is someone that, like, if I'm on a jury, like, I'm going to be more compelled to vote for her just because I think that she's her social prowess is what gets me through this game. And so, yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. My number 5 is the person who is very upset at the moment. The great Stephen Moreland.
This is great. This is just great.
The comments are a mess right now.
Firstly, Steven is the highest one-time player on my list. So he is...
Same!
Yeah.
Right?
I believe that is true.
I'm writing them all down, so...
He,
yeah.
In my opinion, has played, from what I have seen, the best game of a single-time player.
Yes.
The way he was in control...
Down.
The way that he was in control of season 6, a lot of the things that were happening, and he was doing a lot of it behind the scenes until he couldn't manage us that level. It happened. I believe, and this is going to sound biased because it's me, but his mistake in season 6 was his read on me. He misread me a lot of the time. From the very first day, saying, nope, not happening. This guy, no, not a thing. And then I was willing to work with him. I had my own plans, absolutely. But him getting Jason to take me out, put the target on his back to that he could no longer manage, and then he became a threat. Had he allowed things to progress a little further, it could have been a different story. Steven could have won season 6. He would have been a very deserving winner of season 6. And
I think that against Abby, he does win. If that were to happen.
I think so, because we were the jury from my perspective as a juror, we were ride or die for anyone who was in that like majority alliance at the beginning. Like, even though he took me out, the minute he made it to the jury house, I was like, all right, Josh, here's your drama. Steven, what the fuck? And then I was like, all right, taking this to PM so we can be friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was very much like there was no beat, and I think he would have gotten the recognition that he deserved for the game that he played. He's also fantastic in Confessional.
Oh, yeah.
He played an amazing character, gave good TV, made it all happen. Steven is one of the best to never win, and hopefully one day we get to see him play again.
Yes, I really, really hope that we get to see Steven play again. I don't know that season 10 would have been for him. It may or may not have been. I think it probably could have been with him inserted, but yeah. I mean, yes, best one-time player to never win. That, according to me, I have a list.
That's what we're doing here, folks.
Yeah, he's the only one-time player on my whole list. So,
all right, Max, number 4.
Number 4 is actually a one-time player. I have Lauren at number 4 because this is more of my always makes the right decision train of logic. Lauren, threw a vote to keep Sam when Sam was on the block right around when jury started. And I remember in her confessional, she said, I like Sam. I don't want to vote, who was it? Max Layton out. Like, I like him. Screw that. So she threw a vote, and that probably bought her valuable time with Sam. I think Lauren, Jayla, and I were just kind of the victim of it being a split house, and we just didn't win a comp. So I think Lauren could have made it a lot further if we just weren't up against this like unbreakable monolithic alliance. But Lauren consistently made correct decisions, I believe, and she made me feel horrible for throwing her under the bus when I shouldn't have. So
Did happen.
It did happen. I'm sorry, Lauren. I love you.
Yeah, Lauren was someone that we wanted to play season 10, just didn't work out for her. But yeah, she's great. She is great. All right, great. Your number? Oh, it's me. My number 4 on this list is, who do I have? I have number 4 is Thomas Shirley. Steven wants to join the stream.
No, we cannot. We're
not
we're
right
already
now.
Not yet, Steven. Not yet. Let us finish, and then you can come on and yell at me.
Yeah, I will get. Wait, I need a snack.
Let me
so I can get.
Let me finish. Let me go get my popcorn and a beer, and then I'm gonna mute myself and just sit and watch.
So you can absolutely come on and yell at me, and I'll defend myself. Thomas Shirley. And the reason being is because had he made the end either time, I think that he would have been in great position to win. Because he probably would have been against people he would have beaten, but like he was very liked, and he just like had such good reads on the house, was good at competitions, great socially. Everyone likes him, super under the radar. He's like the master of the under the radar game. Like he's not even a floater. He's not necessarily like a floater or a coaster or whatever. He's neither of those things. He's just a great under the radar player. Probably the best under the radar player in Big Brother Hometowns history by far. I think I can't think of someone that plays a better under the radar game than him. And other people have tried, but I think that he's one of the few people that's come into this game with that as the strategy. Like, I'm gonna play. Maybe you have someone like Jake or Pietro that played under the radar games, but there's something different about Thomas's where he's just like something about it I really enjoy. Maybe it's just because he's just like the nicest person I've ever come encountered with in my whole life. But he goes out in very similar places twice, so he's very consistent, like 5 and 4 or
not many people can say that they've made it multiple times.
Was it 5th and then 4th?
5th and then 4th.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, maybe he had to win his way to the end.
And to come in 4th in the buzzsaw that was season 8, like that's
right.
No joke.
Season 8 was a very difficult season, and he got beat in the competition by Gray and Alex. So basically, he was the only one left. If either of you two don't win that, he probably stays and one of you guys go. So, yeah, I mean, I have plenty of good things to say about Thomas, and rewatching some of his thoughts about season 4 lately, and he just has such a good instincts, and is not afraid to act on them. Has good timing. He's attractive. Like I feel like I'm just like writing like his dating profile.
I need to tell Thomas that you're saying all this because he's also in this fantasy league, so he's not paying attention.
Oh, of course not.
I won't tell him to watch this.
So Thomas is actually also my number 4.
Same.
Wow.
Hey, look at that.
Consistent.
I love working with Thomas in season 8. Buzzsaw is like such a great word to describe season 8 and like what season 8 was.
Especially at the beginning.
It was a war with a bunch of landmines. And like, I'm so glad that Thomas and I like started in the same room together and we were able to keep working together. I actually I've told Josh this, when I won HOH at 4 and put up Thomas and Kaylee, I wasn't going to put Alex up because I had promised him that if he didn't put me up at 5, I wouldn't put him up at 4. And I wanted to hold true to that in case he won final HOH because I didn't want him to not take me to the end. If I had won veto at Final Four, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I was like kind of making plans at that time to take Thomas down and let Thomas cast the vote to evict between Alex and Kaylee. Just because I knew that Thomas would like make the right move there. And it would have meant Thomas would have been at number 3, and then like we would have duked it out. Kaylee probably would have won part 1 of the final HOH because she and Alex were like really, really close on that one.
Mhm.
I still think I would have won part 2. I probably would have won part 3 over Kaylee, and then like I would have taken Kaylee to the end instead of Thomas because Thomas would have been a threat to win. Like one thing goes differently, and Thomas wins season 8. Basically, is what I'm saying, and he.
8 for 4.
It literally, and for him to have that happen to him twice, like for him to like literally have that like 2 times, like for him to not like win based on one move, like that's a big deal. And so yeah, he definitely deserves this place.
Yeah, I also have Thomas at my number 4 pick. I did not watch his first game, but watching his second game, I was super impressed with him. I think Josh, you said it correct. He's the king of the under the radar game. He's so unassuming. He's very charming. He's very nice. And anytime you guys would pop up on like a live competition with him, I was always wanting to like jump into that and be like, oh my gosh, yes, I love Thomas. Like he's so fun. Like we have no choice but to stand, you know? And like, and I think again, just like consistent with a lot of my thoughts, if he had one thing that changed for him, he could have won. And it sounds like from what you said about season 4, he could have won. One thing changes twice, he could have won twice.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
All right, that's
ahead,
enough.
Max.
Enough gushing over Thomas.
I'm sure he would disagree, but my number 3 is none other than Bradley Consalvo. Bradley and I have a long and storied relationship that's intertwined with each other in Big Brother hometowns. We started off best of friends in the Pineapple Pals. Quinn and I jumped that ship, but Bradley and I made up in season 5 and kind of ran the game from opposite ends of the house. He eventually turned on me, which I was very annoyed with, but I still love him. But then we were best friends again in season 7 when I was up on the block against him, and I somehow ended up staying. I don't know why. Like, anyway. So Bradley and I have had a very up and down game relationship, but Bradley is always in the mix. He's played 5 times. That's tied with Quinn for the record for most times played.
Mhm.
And it's not like we cast him just because he just loves to play and we just like want to cast him. We cast him because he's really good. He, especially in season 5, like he was the one that approached me with the idea of kind of aligning from opposite sides of the house, and I was very like impressed with that. Like, I think he just gets caught in the wrong place at the wrong time sometimes, but season 5 he was so close, so close to
Was that when he got 3rd?
He got 3rd.
Yeah.
And like I wanted, if it wasn't going to be me, I wanted it to be him, and he deserved it, and it was so sad. But Bradley's just a legend. Like he has to be up here on the list.
My number 3 is I should be more prepared so I can not wait this moment. But my number 3 is crap. I put number 4, but it's my number 3 is Abby. And I have gone back and forth on this a lot. Where I think Abby lacks, the one place that she lacks, she's good enough at competitions. Obviously, her game is a social game, but it's just that strategic side that she does not quite have fully developed. She's got like a baseline understanding. Go after the people who are coming after you. Like, that's kind of the name of the game. But I think that down that stretch, especially in season 6, that was really her game to win, I felt like. Season 3, I guess, was. But the fact that Max got taken to the final 2 over Abby just like shows that, well, I guess you could argue either way. That shows she made her threat level way too big. And the fact that Max was able to be taken in. But 6 I felt like was the one that she could have won had she made some different decisions. I feel like the decisions Abby made down the stretch in 3 were good and fine. But in 6, really when they decided to take Parker out, when they didn't decide to take Sarah out, kind of. I understand why Steven was the choice there. But really when they her and Ryan band together to get Parker out, there was chances for Abby to win that. And I know I praise Leah for, losing on a crapshoot. Abby also lost on a crapshoot. She lost on the tiebreaker in the final 3 HOH or the final HOH. But sorry, Abby, you bombed. You bombed that tiebreaker. Absolutely bombed it. And so that's a little different. You just absolutely bombed it. And so one thing, but same situation. She's one question away because it was a tie from winning that season. So, but I think that she could have set herself up better in the meantime. Whereas Leah, I think, set herself up as well as she could up to that point. So maybe I should have Leah higher, but Abby's done it twice. So that obviously is you get to the end twice. That's a big deal.
My number 3 is Bradley. I love the way Bradley plays this game. Bradley has he's played 5 times. He's made the jury 3 of them. 2 of those times he got 5th and 3rd. In season,
he's made it 4 or 5 times. He's made the jury.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So even better for Bradley. 2 of those times he got 5th and 3rd, and the time that he got 3rd was the time that he arguably had the best chance to win the entire game. Again, I took our sequester game into consideration, and Bradley, for someone who had no idea what sequester was, for someone who literally Bradley was the first 8 rounds of the game, Bradley's name was going around, and then somehow Bradley got 6th place.
It was impressive.
How does he do that? It was at the point where I was from the outside, I was rooting for a Josh and Bradley final 2 because I was I just want to see the Consalvo brothers be final 2 together in this game because it would just be so amazing to watch. Bradley, he deserves a spot at the very top of this list. He has proven that his talent can be replicated. He's done it not just once, not twice, but if you count the sequester game, 3 times finishing within the top 6, 2 times finishing within the top 5, and he's so close to winning a final HOH and being the winner of season 5. And that's what a lot of this night is about, right? Is speculating if one thing had gone differently, then what. Sorry to call you out, Alex. I saw you in the comments earlier say something about rewriting history. I don't want you to think this rewriting history. It's just speculating that if this all of our.
Oh no!
We were losing him. Oh no! This is Gray's one thing is that his internet just disappears every now and again. Oh wait! Oh, I thought he unfroze. He didn't.
Ooh, awkward. Okay, well, for the dead, so that we don't have any dead air, I will say my number 3 is also Bradley, who I just absolutely adore. Firstly, he's hilarious. He is.
Oh, new Gray. We have a new Gray.
It kicked me off right in the middle of my soapbox.
Go ahead, King. Finish telling. Finish dragging Alex. Let's go.
And I can drag Alex because I love Alex.
Oh
no!
But this whole thing, this isn't rewriting history. This is speculation, right? This whole night, the people that make this list, this is all based on speculation that if one thing had gone differently in their season, then what could have happened. And a lot of people who made this list were one move short of winning the game, which is why they made these lists. That was how my list went, at least. And so, and I know a lot of you did that as well. So I don't want anyone to think that we're trying to rewrite history because we're not. Winners won and they were deserving of it. Greg Wells deserved that win in season 5, but Sarah was very, very close. She's 1 vote off. Leighton has a different day. He votes differently. Bradley does differently in that competition, he potentially wins. So it's like things like that have to be taken into consideration.
Yeah. Well, I also have Bradley as my number 3. Like I said, I absolutely adore him. He's hilarious, good ally, will fight so hard for the people that he wants to work with. He plays hard. He works at everything. He's, and like he has done it, recreated an end game scenario for himself several times, like you already said. Like, and I think for me, like having just played with him in season 10, like, I think season 10 showed me why Bradley was a great player, because like there was several times in the first 3 or 4 votes where he would be like at work or doing something, and like I would feel like the tide was shifting away from like what Bradley and Abby and I wanted to happen. And then like I just would stop and I'd be like, okay, the minute that they show up, the minute that Bradley shows up, it's going to change everything. And that's what happened with, I feel like that's what happened with the Kaylee vote. I feel like that's what happened with the DK vote. I feel like that's what happened with my vote, like the one that I was saved. Like the minute that him and Abby, who is coming up on my list, showed up for their allies, they forced their will on the game. And I just found that to be so cool and so incredible. And and he's amazing and a great player of this game.
I think that Quinn.
That's
I think
Quinn.
That's Quinn.
Quinn's
Yeah.
watching. He's very upset that he wasn't on the list for everybody. So just so everybody knows.
But I also think that Quinn might be Bradley's favorite Teddy now after our Survivor mini the other night. Okay, so Max, it's you, and I have to assume. Can I make the guess of who I think your number 2 is?
Sure.
You may be throwing a curveball on all of us. Actually, I have a guess. I think I know who you're.
Curveball is a Max Teddy thing to do.
It is. So I'm changing who I think it is, and I think your number 2 is Alex.
That's correct.
Yep.
I have Alex as my number 2. Alex is clearly when I had started this list, I had who are my locks, and Alex was one of the first names I wrote down, because it's just like obviously duh. But not even for his performance in season 8, which was incredible. I know we got on a call and we said Alex is going to win this game, probably a final 10 or 11 or something like that. Nobody except for Thomas was even remotely on the planet of getting Alex out of the game, yet he still made it to the end. The reason that Alex is this high for me is because he did it again in season 10. He did it again. Like,
Steven's unhappy. He thinks that this is a response to Steven, by the way. Continue.
You can't cancel me. Win a season of Big Brother.
Well, that's Alex. Alex is canceling you.
Oh, that's Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, I love you. So the thing is, he did it again, and people were even talking about getting Alex out the whole game in season 10, and he still made it to final 5, which is just incredible to me. And I'm just like, Alex has this way of talking his way out of any situation. He has a way of shifting the target to someone else. He has this incredible ability to just like make you, like, force you, maybe guilt trip you into doing something that's not in your own interest, just because he wills it into existence. And it's just incredible to watch. Alex, I'm giving you so many compliments. I don't appreciate this hate right now.
All right, time for my number 2. Any guesses?
I think you're going to put Alex as your number 2 also, Josh.
Have you had Bradley on your list yet?
No, Bradley's going to be Josh's number 1.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's my number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So a couple things. One, I really loved the Mitchell-Bradley relationship in season 10. That was just really unexpected because it started out in the bunkers where Mitchell was like, "Your brother's on crack," because like it was.
Everyone was with a crackhead in season 10 to Mitchell.
But then all of a sudden the game merged and like it became this like one of my favorite alliances between Bradley, Abby,
Bam.
Mitchell, which you guys made fun of me for.
No, we loved it. We stood
Oh, yeah.
that. We stood that. Yeah, we
But-
stand that so bad.
I mean, we've talked about season 5. And that's a situation where here's where I think Bradley went wrong in season 5, and I've always said this. Well, two things. One, the decision that Sarah made was not his fault. Like, that's not Bradley's fault that happened, and then he inevitably lost and couldn't win a competition at the end. That was the other thing with Bradley, is he should have maybe done a little more of his homework that season. But the other mistake that I think Bradley made is taking Max out.
Yes.
And he took him out at 5, and it made sense on the surface level. Like, Max is a big threat. We've gone as far as we can get. All right, I can cut him now. But I think that Max was willing to take Bradley to the end. And you
Right.
can't win if you're not at the end. And yeah, maybe Max wins that jury vote, but I don't know. That jury would have had Bobby, Leighton, John, and Sarah on it. And I think that Bradley wins that. I think Bradley beats Max in a jury vote, which is pretty incredible. And we'll never know, but like I really think there's a good chance. And so Bradley, every time he's played, except for season 7, which whatever, he's been in the mix. He's been important. He went home in season 3 because of John's stupidity. He threw Bradley's game out the window. In season 1, he went home because he was on the block against Jenny, and I've always said that whoever survived that eviction was going to win the game. And so he just could never quite get over the finish line, and I don't know if he will. I don't know if he'll play again. I don't think he should. In a sense, maybe in the distant future, but. I mean, he's as good of a player as we've had, and he's relentless. He's relentless. One of the best evidences is in season 5. There's a twist where we put this secret box in the game, and we said, all right, give this box to someone, and you must decide unanimously. And Bradley was like, I'm getting this box. Like, it literally was like, you're all giving it to me, and I'm not stopping until you decide to give it to me. And he did, and he got it, and somehow came out of that like endearing to people, like and other people were villainized. Yeah, and other people were villainized in the game because of Bradley doing that. There's just like he has a way of doing those things that is very impressive to me, and I'm sad that he didn't win that season. I was sad when he didn't win it then, and I was happy that Greg won, and I would have been happy if Sarah won. But obviously, I was just really rooting for him there. And then in season 10. He just was against a buzzsaw that he just couldn't quite get in. Jeff, I think, made a big mistake in not using the veto on Bradley. I think that would have been the right move because I think that Emma would have gone home and not whoever would have been replaced, Jason or whatever it was, Jake or whoever. I don't even remember. I don't think that would have happened, and I think that would have been really good for Jeff and Bradley. And who knows what happens there?
I was thinking for a while that it was going to be a Jeff Bradley final 2.
That would have been really fun.
I would have loved that.
But it didn't happen. And so here he is, Bradley, number 2, best to never win on my list. And so I think by process of elimination, well, you've already written it down. I'm pretty sure I know where everyone else stands, but here we go. Gray has.
Dang it. I didn't want you to throw that up yet because I was going to say there. I was going to be like, my number 2 is Alex. And then just to let Alex wait for a little bit. And then throw it out Abby afterward. No, of course, where Alex is on my list. But Abby is my number 2. Abby deserves a spot at the top of this list. She is the best female in the Big Brother Hometowns world to never win this game. Hands down, 100%. The way that she plays this game socially is you just have to look at the way that she plays it and stand in awe at it. The fact that she was able to replicate a 3rd place finish, like a finale night run, a second time. It's amazing. And I think that Abby was someone who, when she played in season 2, she did a good job. She was just up against the majority alliance, which was all of us that knew each other from outside of the game. But if things had gone a little bit differently, if me and Abby had worked with Greg whenever Greg came back into the house, Abby could have been at the end of that season also, because and it's just like it's amazing to look at. Like I think that in season 3, I think that you are right, Max. Like Abby did have the Quinn connection. Abby was a lot of like the probably like the brains behind like the her and Melody operation. And then in season 6, she proved that she can win comps, and she proved that she like had to fight for her spot. And I think that Abby she's so close to winning a season of this game. And I love that Bradley and Abby worked together in season 10, like right from the beginning, and like even and with Mitchell too, like right from the beginning, I was like, Bradley and Abby working together is one of my favorite things that has ever happened in this game. Like I just love like them working together in this alliance.
It's fun to watch.
And literally that was my favorite alliance to watch the whole game, was the Bradley Abby Mitchell alliance. Like it was just so fun because like they would hop on calls with each other, and it was just like watching like an Italian family like argue. Like they would just be like yelling at each other. It was just so funny. And so yeah, like I'm a big Abby stan. Literally in our Survivor mini the other night, Abby got 4th. Like she does it again. She is so good at this game. Like she's just so good at social games like this, and I just love watching Abby play. Abby, if you're watching, you know that I'm a big fan of you. You know that we're all big fans of yours. And yeah.
And fun fact, Abby's joining the team. She's gonna be hosting with us this next season.
She is.
All right, Mitchell, I'll let you like have some suspense.
I'm ready to get canceled by the one person who has continued to watch this stream the entire night. My number 2 is Alex, and it is for the reason that Gray just mentioned at the end of what he talked about with my number 1, is that this is a social game. And the thing that Alex failed at in the end of season 8 was managing his social relationships. And that's why Gray ended up winning that season. Alex is a fantastic player. He said, I'm coming back in season 10 and I'm going to do it again, and you're going to give me a crown. And he almost did it. And I have nothing but respect for that. But I think in the end, for me, in ranking my top 2 people, the person that had more of an opportunity to win the game is the person that I have ranked above Alex. And that is why Alex is my number 2. Because of this is purely a social game at its core. You can strategize and you can win comps all you want, but if you don't have those social relationships to give you the win, you can't win. He was sitting in the final 2. He did not have those relationships to win, and he did not. And so that's why I can't put him as the number 1. And he can come for me all he wants, but that is where I stand, and that is not changing.
I'm in full agreement with Mitchell on that one.
Me and Gray will defend.
Oh, I'm putting on my boxing gloves.
Yeah. All right, Max, I think I know who your number 1 is, but you can go ahead and say it.
Yeah, my number 1 is the one that's right below me, right down here. Mitchell Stokes.
Okay, questionable, but I'm here to listen.
So, okay, this to me was very clear, and I'm not sure why you guys had Mitchell so low. I'm not sure why you had yourself so low. I know you're humble, but
always.
You're the top 10 humblest players in BBH history, new ranking show. Okay, here's the deal with Mitchell. I spent so much time at the beginning of season 10 listening to calls with Mitchell in them. Mitchell knows every time Mitchell was on the call, I came running. Because I was just watching him. He would be in the worst situation. He would either be caught in a lie, or he was backdoored, and he was on the block and he was having to play from behind. But he knew exactly what to say to the right person at the right time, and it was tailored to that person. It's not like Mitchell just had this pitch and he was just giving this pitch to everybody. Like he would tailor what he said to the specific person he was talking to, and he would adapt within a conversation to get his agenda across, and he just always knew the right things to say. I was just floored, like watching Mitchell on calls specifically, and that's the reason I have him above Alex, is because when you leave a conversation with Mitchell, you're like, oh my gosh, like that makes a whole lot of sense. Like it gives you something to think about. Like I feel like Alex just left a bad taste in too many people's mouths, and they didn't. Especially in season 10, people weren't necessarily wanting to fight for Alex, but people had to think before like voting on Mitchell. Like you said it with Jenny, like it may not have even been in Jenny's best interest to keep you, but she did. And I think that was a big reason for that, was because of what you said, what you told her on that call. So I'm just so impressed by Mitchell's gameplay, like all around. And like that's the thing, like it doesn't matter how deep in the game you make it. Like I think Mitchell always made the correct, not even the correct game decision, but said the correct thing, which is hard to do because I don't think I would be able to do that. I can't think that quickly on my feet. So that's where I stand.
Wow. I love you more than anyone else.
NE1.
Anyone?
All right. So here's my defense of Alex. And it's really just a rebuttal to Mitchell's argument. And you're not wrong. Like you're certainly not wrong. Like Alex in a vacuum lost the jury vote to Gray for the reasons that I think that you stated above. But I also believe it's because that Gray beat him. I think that Gray like beat him in the jury questioning. But Alex has already said this in the comments, and he's right. He takes Kaylee, and his jury management's flawless, and he wins unanimously.
But he didn't take Kaylee though. So.
Right, of course, he did not take Kaylee. He did not. And I think, and I that night said, and I still stand by it, that was like the most human moment I saw from Alex, and that showed me like that there is that side to him. He's not just a game bot. But so that's that. You could have easily put him at number 1, 2 if you wanted to. Like,
I almost did.
Yeah. And so the reasons that he is here for number 1 for me, I mean, are obvious. But I think just the way that Alex approached the game was a way that we hadn't seen before. We could call him a game changer if you'd like.
Don't say that.
Yeah, he just like at times he was a little bit too galaxy brained, and for his own good, but he was always that one step ahead, at least in his own mind. Whether it's reality or not, it doesn't matter because he was just preparing for all kinds of things. I think that he recognized that Gray was a threat to him earlier, not early on, but about midway through, but was at a point where he didn't have any other option but to kind of hitch his wagon to Gray. And that was great on Gray, obviously, and great for Gray. And then he comes back in season 10 and should have the biggest target on his back on planet Earth, and somehow manages to get into the winning majority alliance that is dominating the game. And I think he made some questionable decisions in terms of how he interacted with the other side, but it didn't matter. No one was coming for him. Somehow, when Rachel was supposed to come for him, it turned on Jenny. And Alex still worked to maintain relationships with people that he had to, like Jake, like Rachel, like Jeff, and those things all eventually kind of got burnt. But how much further could he have gone? Like without winning, if he had won that season, it would have just been a testament to how stupid 19 other people were, to let him just do what he had to do. Now, there were some people that had benefited to have Alex in the game, like Jenny, even like Sarah, and even like Mitchell. Like, you didn't take him out for the reasons that he was a good shield for you, but it didn't ultimately matter. He just got himself really insulated, and it was super impressive, and he could have easily won that game had he won. We did a different competition at the Final 5 Power Veto than we would have done in the past. And so, who knows what happens if we have a different competition there, and he almost won that one anyway. And if he wins at that Final 5 Veto, he wins out. He almost certainly wins the rest of the way out and wins the season. So he is definitively, in my mind, not definitively, this is an subjective conversation, but in my mind, the number one person, the best player to never win.
Yeah, I also have Alex as my number one. I might be a little bit biased because Alex is like the second part of my like chill town. Like he's like Mike to my Dr. Will, or the like Stephen Fishback to my JT, like whatever you want to call it. Like he is like obviously like going to be up there for me because of that. But here's the thing about Alex is like, yeah, if he hadn't taken me to the end, he would have won 100%. But like he was loyal to me, and like that's a testament to like him like changing an aspect of his game. He said before, like if he was going to win, like he's got wins before. He wanted a quality win if he was going to win again. But then also like maybe that's a testament of like my social game. I don't know. Like that's for other people to debate, and I'm not going to focus on that. What I am going to focus on is the fact that this is almost comical to me that Alex gets second place in the bet. Like I'm just going to go ahead and say it: the best final two in a season of Big Brother Hometowns.
Oh, for real? Clearly.
Yeah.
In what I think is the best season of Big Brother Hometowns, and like maybe I'm being biased. In the comments, blow me up. I don't care. But like Alex gets second place, loses by 1 vote. He is like clearly like, to me, just based off that one season, like the best. Like his only mistake was taking me to the end. That was his only mistake that he made all season.
I mean, that was a big mistake, though.
It was, but then he comes back in season 10. In season 10, when we have cast Alex Day and 19 of the other best players to ever play this game, we have 20 all-stars. Well, I mean, it turned out to be, like Max said earlier, it turned out to be some stars. But we cast what we thought at that time. In end of July, we cast what we thought were 19 of the other best players to ever play this game. And what happens? Right after Alex had just done that in season 8, Alex had shown how great of a player he is in season 8, just like a month and a half before, 2 months before. And Alex makes it to the final 5 and almost wins the entire game. Because literally, Mitchell, you were right. They were all crackheads. Literally, there were so many crackheads playing that game. How do you let this man? How do you let this man get to the final 5? If he had won that veto, he would have won the whole thing. And at that point, I was like, you know what? All these people are idiots. Like, they are truly idiots because they let him get this far. Like, they are dumb for that. Like, how did they let him get that far?
Okay, so Gray, let me challenge you. So if Alex got that far because everybody else was an idiot, was it because of Alex or was it because of everybody else?
Yes, because it was because of Alex, in my opinion, because Alex's name started getting thrown out like round 3. Like there were people like round 3 or 4, like Rachel and Pietro, who were like, we got to start targeting Alex at some point. Whenever there were 17 people left in the house, people were like, let's target Alex at some point. And Alex still makes it to number 5. Like Alex's name was going around there, but Alex was like pushing other people to the people who were in power. I mean, he said it like in that season, he said, if you can't win HOH, then like take over the HOH. And that happened. Like there were a couple of times that he didn't win the HOH, that he pretty much like got his way and he like got his agenda. I don't know like what it is. I've seen it happen. Like Josh, I've seen it happen to you when we were playing Sequester together. I went and I told Alex, hey, Josh is throwing your name out. Because I was like, Josh and like Bradley and Sarah and like all of them, and like Mitchell, all of them are going to like stick together at some point. So I was like, maybe like if I throw Josh's name out early to Alex, then like he'll like do something. Josh hops in the room and Alex says, Josh, I heard you threw my name out. And instead of Josh lying to Alex, Josh looked to Alex and was like, I can't lie to you. Yeah, I threw your name out. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? That's how good Alex is at games like this. He gets people to tell him the truth. Like he's so good at that. Like he gets people to tell him exactly what he needs. There's no one else that, in my mind, could like get this top spot. Like Abby was close. Abby was very, very close for me. and like I hate to make Alex's head big by like saying all this stuff about him, but like he deserves it.
All right, Mitchell, wrap us up here. We can let some people come yell at us.
Yeah, Abby, how? Okay, let's. Alex made final 2 and final 5. Abby has made the final 3 twice. She probably wins both those seasons. If she wins the final head of household, she does not make the mistake that Alex made. She cuts Sarah.
She cuts me.
She cuts Max. She wins both those seasons. And if we're talking about the one move that should have changed these people's games to get it to break for them, Abby had 2. Alex had the chance to take the person that he would have slaughtered in the jury, and he didn't.
It's true.
And that is why Abby is number 1. Now she didn't have that choice. Alex did, and that's on him. He won that chat. Congratulations to him. Okay, he won that final H. I don't care if he's in the chat. He's probably down here right below.
He is.
Oh, he's warming up right now.
He can hear. He needs to hear it. You said great. The word out of your mouth. He made one mistake to take you to the end, and he lost. He had the opportunity to make the right choice to win the game, and he did not.
I mean, it's fair.
Abby would not have made that mistake. She would have cut both the people who ended up winning that season, and she would have she would have won the jury vote in a landslide in either of those games. Abby,
I will say, Abby's second time playing, like just to give you credit for that, Abby's second time playing after getting third place her first time, and like how hungry she was for it her second time. You are right about that. She absolutely.
I'm not done defending Abby. Don't bring any fools in here yet until I have said what I'm going to say. Abby in season 10 was a fucking force. She was the same with Bradley. The minute that Abby showed up in a conversation, the votes started to flip. The people who were like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, started to change. She plays this game so incredibly hard. She works her ass off, and she is just like, she is going to make it happen regardless of what it is. That's it. Abby, number 1.
All right.
Bring him in. I don't care. I'm not afraid
Here
of
we
him.
go. The man, the myth, the legend.
Let me just go ahead.
I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you.
Hi, Alex.
Okay, I have a few things to say here. Borderline, I've had a lot to drink today.
Oh no.
So let's just
Perfect.
bear with me for a hot
Amazing.
second. Okay, 1. I do not want to take away Gray's win from my mistake. Gray beat me. I did not lose to Gray. And there's a big fundamental difference there. Gray
I agree with that too.
was absolutely phenomenal in those jury questions. If you look at the jury vote, I lost 5-4. Okay? That's one person that changed their vote. Borderline, probably Quinn was the vote that like changed his mind.
He had his mind made up all day to vote for Alex, and then jury questioning.
So
changed
that was not a matter of like me sucking at jury questions, and I'm not putting those words in your mouth. I'm just, extrapolating here. But it was not. I made a huge mistake to lose. I chose to stay loyal to my motherfucking ally, Gray. I love you.
King.
That is why we went to the final 2 with Gray. Okay, if that is a fundamental flaw, I will own that to the end of time because I do not regret it one bit.
And we had a great time, and we looked good while we were doing it too. So.
Agreed. Because for all intents and purposes, I still had Quinn's vote if I had performed slightly better. Abby did not get to the final 3. Okay?
Yeah.
Part of this game is getting your ass to the final 2, whether it's by comps, by social connection. I did both. She did not get there. So she is not above me.
Alex, you're my number 2, bro. Like,
I know. I'm just coming at you because this is so fun and I've been drinking. That's all. I don't give a fuck. I just have to say, I just have to defend Josh and Gray because they stood by me. Max, I'm very disappointed in you.
I appreciate all the nice things that Max
I
said
just
about me.
have to say, I'm sorry.
I think
but,
he's
like,
high. I think you're high on me, Max. That's just my personal opinion, but I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I would put Mitchell at like 4. I think that's very good.
I would have accepted that
Alex,
wholeheartedly.
I think 2 is very good.
No,
why I
2
had
is
you
not
num-
good enough.
That's
I
why I had you number 2, because you are
I literally have to play again now. This is ridiculous.
you are top
my
2
gosh.
all time.
No, I want 1. I want like unanimous 1 from all 4 of you bitches. That's what I want. Okay, I got 2 down. I need 2 more. That's what I need. So that's what I have to say. Okay. So
Okay, I have a
Now,
question.
where's Steven at? I want to see the
I
same
don't know.
thing.
I sent him the link. I sent
Steven
him the
was
link.
robbed. I don't know what you guys were thinking. I'm sorry.
Okay,
And
I-
Quinn, 10, not even on your list.
Quinn was my
Okay,
number
question.
11.
What's your question, Mitchell?
Question. Is Alex's placement as high if he does not do as well in season 10? Or is his placement only high because of that he recreated?
No, I still
In
would have.
10.
I still would have had him at least in my top 3.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I
I
think
agree
so.
with that.
Yeah, if
Okay,
he
I'm just
hadn't done as
curious.
well in season 10, I might have considered putting Abby
We
right.
probably- We probably don't count that against Alex because we all suspected him to do poorly.
Yeah.
But we also
agree.
suspected he'd get to the final 4.
But like him doing so well in season 10 just like makes it even better because I'm like, how did they let him do that?
I agree. I don't think 10 hurts me. I think 10 only helps.
Helps you. And
Yeah,
your
for real.
I didn't even talk about your sequester performance, like when you got 4th place.
That's not relevant. I don't think. I think you have to do BBH only.
I mean, I consider
But I mean, if you want,
I consider our beach party game, since it was with BBH people, to be like, I considered it to be like canon enough that like if I was having trouble picking between 2 people, it was like if someone performed well in that, then it gave them the edge for me. Like whenever I was choosing like Bradley over Thomas, I was like, that's just like more data for.
I feel like for me, it's like obviously I want to be number 1. Hell yeah. But I feel like I actively chose not to have a guaranteed win, borderline a unanimous win, in order to fight it out with someone I was loyal to, and still only lost by 1 vote. I didn't
But does
lose to
that make
Gray
you-
like
but does that make you-
7-2.
Does that make you a great player or a great person?
Both. Both.
I don't know. It makes
think
you a great
so.
person for sure.
Yes, it does, Max. Thank you.
Clearly.
Steven's on his way. Don't worry.
I
Bring
can't wait.
Steven's ass in here because I'm going to roast the fuck out of all of you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be
What
swearing.
about me?
but, like,
Not to mention,
You were
why was Steven not 4? At least on all of you.
Steven wasn't on Max's list, period.
Steven would have been a lot higher on my list. if
Okay,
he
so
was-
Josh, Gray, and Mitchell, we have to vote Max out now. I thoroughly believe it's the right choice.
Oh, you
Steven,
dick. You're such
I
a
was-
dick. You're such
Steven,
a dick.
I love you. I was just defending you.
Steven, you're such a dick.
Alex, I love you. Mitchell, I love you. Gray, you're fine. Josh and Max,
Fuck
I have
them.
nothing but bad things to say to you, but this is a family show.
This is what I have to say.
We're here playing Puzzleopoly. We're here playing Yahtzee. That's for you, Josh. And let me be clear. I will not be disrespected again. I'm coming back, and I'm kicking all of you motherfuckers
Steven.
with me.
Steven, let's fucking go. Let's go.
He just did get out of here.
Okay, I also want to point out that like
I
we
stand.
very actively need a badass POC woman here to represent. We are all white men here, and so like let's get some.
Where's Jayla? Send her the link.
Jayla is.
I texted
Someone
him.
had Jayla as 10. I thought that was very. Okay.
I had her as 10. I couldn't leave her.
It
off.
was you,
That
Mitchell. It was you. What do I expect? God forbid.
My wife says I
Yay.
need to come back.
Hi, Steven.
Do you feel better, Steven?
Steven,
No, I
Steven,
won't
I
feel
miss
better.
you.
Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna have as many wins as Max effing Teddy, and that's gonna be fine. Everything will be fine at that point, because I'll be on everyone's effing list at that point, won't I, Max? I will not be disrespected.
It's
You wouldn't be on this.
it's
You wouldn't be on this
ridiculous.
list
It's
Wait,
because you
I
would have
would-
won.
I want to hear from Max why Steven is not on the list, though.
Yeah, tell me. Why is Quinn on the fucking list? I'm sorry. No offense, Steven. No offense.
Trash.
Like,
Max's list is trash. He doesn't deserve a voice.
Max,
Coward.
Max is
Big
fired.
This.
Fired.
This is the-
He makes nonsense.
This is the controversy I was scared that I would.
It's not
Inside.
okay.
He meant to do
I'm sorry.
it.
When you play 5 times, he has the best intro
Number
video. Best intro video of all time.
That's not a
And
gameplay.
he's like
move.
iconic
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah. When we do our
No
top
one wants
intro
to-
videos,
No.
when we
Hang
do our
on.
top intro videos, it's Quinn and Steven 100%.
No. This podcast was
Carl
not the
Anton
best
Clark is
game-
iconic,
this,
but he's
this
not
was
on
the
the
best
list.
game players of all time. This was not like the best players or like whatever. This was game players. And
I
Quinn
really-
is top 10.
No, I really don't like Quinn's
Let me be
gameplay.
clear. I went from being almost voted out first to being 2 dumb people away from doing the right thing and taking out Sarah, whether she should have been taken out, to winning this game.
Steven, let's vote on Max right now. Let's just do it.
Yeah, Max is voted out. He's out.
Max is already planning his winners at war against Max.
First boot for Max. I'm sorry.
Boot.
Quinn, I'm going to will you the audience LOS. Great. Like you're good.
Steven and
Wait,
Alex cannot win a season of Big Brother. Otherwise, they're going to vote me out of Winners at War first. Like,
Goddamn right. Please
can we not cast Steven or Alex?
I
for
mean, it
another
really
season,
did.
please?
make sure that
Okay, so are you that scared of me that I'm going to win?
No, I'm going to vote you actually out first, Alex, if you win.
You're not going to get a chance to, Max. I'm so sorry.
Yes, you're not going to win.
It got to the point where
First boot Max.
I was hoping Alex was going to win 10, if only for the fact that we could reunite our alliance in Winners at War. Because, like, I was like, clearly based on the way that people are treating Alex in 10, like when he plays Winners at War, he's going to make top 5 again. So I'm going to want.
I refuse to let that happen.
Listen, here's all I'm telling you.
That is so
I'm gonna
mean.
play.
Max, I would not.
I
have
am
come for you.
going
Alex,
my
you voted me out of
ass in the
sequester.
effing ring. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, but like,
And then
come
Max
on.
Kitty is voted out first. Let it be known. I'm gonna go back to playing Yahtzee with my friends here. Love you guys.
Steven, we love you. You're a
Steven,
king.
I miss you.
Alex,
Steven, I miss you.
Rachel, I love you guys. Gray, I love you too, actually. Josh, Teddy, you're on my list.
Steven, I
What
survived.
list?
I survived a 9-2 vote. First eviction. I'm not
I'm
concerned.
so disappointed, Max. I'm not disappointed in Mitchell because Mitchell and I are like, you know, there's a little something there.
We're
But
like,
Max, that's not okay. No.
I don't know.
And
What,
like Mitchell, I'm sorry, but like I got your ass out of here.
dude,
y'all are rivals.
Speechless. Done.
we're
That's it.
Alex and I are frenemies 100%.
I do love
Wow.
Mitchell. I just
I
want
love
to say
him
I fucking
so
love
much.
Mitchell.
I love Alex so much, but I hate playing games with him
And why do you hate playing games with me?
because I can't trust your ass. That's why.
Where are you and where am I?
I'm on
He's
this
number one
podcast.
on my
Are you-
Where
are you- I wasn't on here because I couldn't give a bias because I was number 1 on everyone. So.
Oh my
We
God.
all know I struggled where I would put myself on the list. We all know Alex would have had.
Wait,
himself
Mitchell,
at
where did you
number
put
one.
yourself?
He
I
put
put
himself
myself
at
at
number 8.
8.
Okay, I would have done you higher if I was you for yourself.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like fight with any of.
I would have done 2, and I would have
people.
found someone really random at 1 just to like make it seem like it was okay.
Someone irrelevant. Oh my
I would have put
gosh.
Mitchell as 1.
All right, I'm signing off the stream. We can stay on, but everyone, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Off the Block. We'll be back with another topic another time. Apply for BBH 11. See you later.